All right, everyone. It's Friday again, just like it is every week at this time.
Every Friday. Who invented that?
And welcome to another episode of Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And welcome to our show. And we're so happy to be here. Lots of stuff going on. I think we're going to have a really great discussion.
Yep.
I know that you had such a good show last week with Ray Smith with Aviant,
Aviant,
right?
It's pronounced Aviant, but I was informed that you and I say Aviant, and it makes it sound better. I go, we do bring class to stuff.
We do bring class to stuff. Yeah.
What
type of class? We don't know. It could be.
I don't know. Lower class. And you know what? It was a great show. Ray Smith was incredible. It flew by. Everybody brought incredible questions. So yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. If you missed that show, do yourself a favor and go back and watch it. It's on the YouTube channel, right?
Right.
But right now, we want to talk about what we're doing today. Let's talk about today, not last week.
Well,
so if you're watching today, please, please, please say hello and let us know where you're watching from. Also, don't forget that this is a Q&A show. The Q part is where you come in. So if you've got questions or a comment or whatever, the show works so much better when you get engaged instead of just sitting there lurking.
Right.
So I know a lot of you guys listen or work while we're in the background, and that's totally cool. But every once in a while, just go over the keyboard and throw something in there. Give us some meat here, right? Give us something to chew on. And then also, if you could please share that you're watching the show. We would like to grow our audience, and we can do that exponentially by having you help us out and share that you're watching. So,
and we have been, Marshall, this week, or actually in the last day, a bunch of updates. All of our podcasts are updated to the audio podcast, so your favorite streaming channel. You can listen to the audio portion.
Yeah, and we're a little behind on that right now. So if you go, you'll see that it might not have last week's show, and that's okay. But we'll get there eventually. So, but we would love for you can listen. So
Marshall, do you realize this is the first time in like 3 weeks you and I have been doing the show together?
Is it? It is.
Last week you were out of town. I was with Ray Smith. The week before I was out of town, you were with Peter Walsh. So yeah,
right. So yeah, great. That's great. So let's say hey to some folks. So Peter says, hello guys from Port Huron, Michigan, Pete and Val.
Yep.
Thank you. And then Charles is here. Happy Friday, everyone.
New Mexico.
Christopher's here. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a great week.
Man, Chris, what is it? March 18th? We have Dan Solomon. You're going to want to be there for that one, Chris.
Yeah. And Ghost is here from Sweden as usual. Hey, how you doing, buddy? And then Brian's here.
From Missouri.
And Cindy's here from Odessa, Texas.
All right.
And Cindy knows where the exclamation point button is on her keyboard today.
You found it.
Yeah, she found it. So congratulations on that. Justin's here. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin, how you doing?
You know what? Justin has the distinction, I think, of having his shirts in 2 major magazines at the same time right now. Yeah, he's got something in Images magazine, or is it Screenprinting? And I just saw something in Impressions. So good job, Justin.
Justin is a recipient of a Rising Star Award in the industry from Screenprinting.
I nominated him for that. So
all right.
It was good. And then William's here. Hey, y'all. And Sarah's here from Kansas.
Hey, Sarah. How you doing?
How you doing? And Chris says he'll be in.
Good.
Dan's here. Pop, I'm in.
He popped in.
Yeah. Our buddy Charlie's here.
The one and only. The man, the myth, the legend.
And we'll be seeing Charlie in Atlantic City. I can't wait to see you there. So
I saw Charlie at Dax, Kansas City last week.
Did you?
So, yeah.
Did he see you?
He did. I don't know if that was a good thing, but he didn't run away. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Right. And then Chris has got a comment. Silicone stacking begins Sunday for me if I'm not too tired from Saturday's ice fishing derby.
Cool.
Peter says, do you know if there's any expos in Arizona? We wanting to go down there and look at property. No expos here in Arizona, Peter. Sorry. Although I live in Arizona. I'll have an expo with the taco stand if you want to join me.
I would get together with Marshall for lunch, man. He knows where all the good places are.
I know how to eat.
Man,
I don't know if you know this about me, Alan, but I have been eating my whole life.
I have been eating my whole life too. What was the place we went to in Mesa when I met you last time I was there? It was a taco place. It was good.
Where did we go? I can't. Oh, we went to crap. Now I can't remember it. If you'd have asked me that when I'm not on the spot, I'll remember it in about 5 minutes.
And you and I went to lunch, the one place with Buckets of Ink, which was good too. I've been there twice. I went there with Workhorse once. So yeah, there's a bunch of good lots of good places. So hook up with Marshall, man. Yeah,
I'm actually going to a content creators conference called DEX in Phoenix here in May. So Peter, if you're interested in learning about how to create content and all types of stuff, which is, I do a lot of that. So I'm going to that. And that is in May. So, I don't have the link ready, but if you reach out, I'll send it to you. So, anyway, so, we've got Charlie says Justin is going to be his guest on Charlie's Corner on March 15th. Oh, that should be good.
It'll be awesome on Tuesdays. Yeah, great.
And Charles says, yeah, that taco place is great.
The one taco place in Arizona, in Mesa. Yeah.
Yeah. There's only one.
There's only one. They're all over.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks everyone for chiming in.
Yeah.
And really appreciate that. So anyway, let's pay some bills and run a commercial real quick, and then we can come back with some topics. What do you think?
Let's do that.
Hey, we want to give a special shout out to GSG for sponsoring us. And we've got a great announcement for next week's show that we'll talk about here in a little bit. So in the meantime, enjoy this. By the way, that taco shop's name is Joyride.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
So it's in Gilbert. So,
yeah, it was good.
While we were on break, I Googled it. So, hey, and then our buddy Richard says, just got here in time for the GSG music. Thank you, Richard.
We were all dancing.
No, I was Googling. You were dancing. I was Googling.
Yeah.
Right? So
GSG, I saw some of them at Dax, Kansas City last week.
Yeah.
I saw our friend Liz Beavers. I saw my old friend Monty Bartel, who is out of the Oklahoma branch, one of the managers. And Monty and I got talking. Man, I've known him a long time, since he was with Tough Products, which made the Javelin before Workhorse.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a long time ago.
Dating yourself, pal.
Real bad. We both had a lot more hair at that time, so it was a good time.
Right, good. Hey, so we got a topic. You ready? Introduce serendipity into your life, right? And so the reason I think this is relevant, and the reason why I wanted to share this, is because I just finished taking a class. I took a class the whole month of February, every Tuesday, every Thursday for an hour and a half. It was a virtual class from a marketing just champion. His name is Mark Schaefer. He's written some fantastic books, The Marketing Rebellion, The Content Code, the cumulative advantage. He's just excellent. He's got a fantastic blog called Grow, by the way. You should subscribe. It's just great. So anyway, I took a class, and it was, I had paid some money. It was expensive, but what was really great was there was about 6 or 8 people in the class. So I got a lot of one-on-one with Mark. We had some one-on-one calls, and we had a lot of feedback, a lot of really interesting things. And it really puts a different perspective in my head about some things, right? And here's the thing. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't know that stuff, and of course it's not much, a lot of the stuff he covers in his books and stuff, but it's having him talk about it and having other people react to it, how they're doing with their business.
Right.
And, they had a lady, and by the way, this was an international class. We had people from Spain, we had people from England, we had people from the United States, Canada, all participating in this. So it was really interesting, a lot of different flavors to the discussion. And this is exactly why you should go to a trade show. This is exactly why you should, instead of shipping your customer stuff to them, maybe just put it into your car or truck and drive it over there and personally thank them, right? So when you introduce serendipity, it's just, you're being open for what's new and that unexpected thing, right? But you got to put yourself out there and do things differently to do that. So just for the topic of discussion, I'd love to hear your take on this, Alan. I would like everybody, if you've done something in the past, let's just say year, right, that you didn't really expect, that you went to that game or went to that trade show, or took that class, or you went to the networking event or whatever you did, can you share what that was? And then the thing that came behind it that you weren't, oh my God, I got a new client right out of it, right? So just share that story, right? So while we're waiting, so Alan, share what you think about
I think one of the things, Marshall, this is so cool because you and I were talking about changes in our life and how we look back and go, man, you didn't know what was going on, and it's all part of the story. As a Christian, we used to say God is in the interruptions. So sometimes these interruptions that don't go on our plan, God's in it. It's cool what happens. And Marshall, the first thing I thought of is you and I meeting. We talked on Twitter. We were following each other's, stuff. We didn't know, never met before. You were going to be at Long Beach speaking. I was going to be at Long Beach. You said, hey, why don't you come to my seminar on
sustainability.
Probably. Yeah. So I was there, and and that's when we met. And who knew where it went from there?
Yeah.
It's just a thing I posted on yours. You posted on something I did, and it went from there. A post.
Yeah. And that's how things grow. And especially with people networking, back when I was in college, I was in a fraternity and I took a leadership class that was actually at a different college. I had to go, I had to go to it. It was like a weekend thing. And one of the speakers said something that stuck with me my whole life, which is your best friend is only a handshake away.
Yep.
So this could be your, a real friend, personal friend, but this could also be a customer, right?
Yep.
Or somebody that could support you in some way. You have to, even if you're an introvert, you've got to do stuff, right? You can't just sit in your cave forever. Okay. And so that, I think that's something I think we really need to be cognizant about these days, especially when we're looking for sales and we're looking for support and we're looking for new techniques and a different apparel distributor because they're out of the thing that I normally order. Yep. Right. People out there have these answers. You just don't know it yet.
Right. And I think for clients, some of my clients, now it's different. I was working for a distributor. I remember at a small show, Columbus, Ohio, these two guys come up and they're out of Saginaw, Michigan. I'm living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the time. And we just get talking. They need a new exposure unit.
Right.
They have an ancient automatic they hardly use. Mostly manual, a lot of sports, a lot of stuff like that. And
Right.
here's what they're looking for. We talk, everything like that. And I said, all right, here it is. There's not one here. Here's the best you can do on this. And it was that. And it ended up being a cash deal. It's so funny. Hey, is there a discount if we pay cash? And I always go like, check, or you have a bag of pennies there. And they bring out a wad of money. And it's like, okay, here's the deal. And we do the deal.
Wad of money.
Yeah. I mean, it was $2,000.
It's like a drug deal. It's like all rolled up with a rubber band.
Well, back in the day, it happened a lot. It shows. But it was funny. So those two guys, you know, I have stayed in touch with their whole career. They now have two automatics. You know them. It's Adam and Ryan from Sandow Sports.
Yeah.
And they are more than just, you know, we have these people. We know a lot of people, Marshall. Then we have these people that are right there that they're more than just clients and acquaintances. They're friends. Right. And that's what it's come to. So,
well, that's good. What a great
story. That is certain. You just never know, a handshake away of where it grows to.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So we got some comments. We'll throw them out here. So Brian has a question for you. So Alan, where can I find info about topping off my Easy Way dip tank? I think we're losing a little from evaporation. It's super dry here.
Yeah, that's easy. I can answer that right now. You are going to get some evaporation anytime the top comes off because it's almost all water.
Well, not to mention when you pull the screen out, you know,
there's loss from that. There is loss from there. And you got to remember, Supra, that Easy Solve Supra that you're using in there there's no solvent. So it's surfactant and water. Brian, if you're mixing to a 1-to-7 ratio, just take a bucket, mix in the bucket 1-to-7 Supra to water, and top it off that way so you stay equal.
Right. And don't mix in the dip tank. Always mix in a separate thing and then add the correct concentrate to the dip tank. Otherwise, you're going to screw it up.
Yep, it will last longer that way with anything like that. So that's the best way to do it. It's not unusual. You're probably getting more from loss off of a screen coming out. You know, just shake it off more, but there still will be a little loss on it, but not much.
And here's a tip: is I had a really nice Grunig, actually, automatic screen machine cleaner machine, right? And then, you know, we had it for a month or two, and then it just quit working, and we couldn't understand what was going on. And it's because the person that was running it just filled up the tank with water. And so it ruined the concentrate of the product that was in the machine. And and this was a Spanish-speaking guy. And so what I did was I used pictograms of this container, 2 of these, plus this, and whatever, and just did it so there weren't any words. And I printed that off, and then I put that, and I forget exactly what the mix was, but I put that into like one of those those sleeve reports like you do when you hand in your term paper in high school, you know, and I taped that to the side of the machine so anybody doing that would have the correct ratio, and we were super successful from then on, right? But that really mattered, right? So that's really important that you stick to whatever the ratio is. Otherwise, you're not going to have the success that you want.
I had a guy out of Florida bought a dip tank and stuff and just set it up. And for his people, I love this. He likes to have processes right there. And he goes, is there a video on the process, even though it's been explained and stuff? He goes, I like to hit the video, make it into a QR code, and it's right there in a dip tank. So that they could do it. And he showed me a picture of it, and I thought that was ingenious.
Yeah. So that's really great. In fact, we just had our Shirt Lab workshop on employee training, and this actually came up about using a QR code with a sticker and putting it on a machine. Right. And that way they need to get the training or watch the video, whatever, about how to do the preventative maintenance or whatever you're doing. It makes it real easy to do that. Right. So good thoughts there.
I'm looking to see if I can find out who it is. I think he actually found me from Shirt Lab. Who's the guy out of Okeechobee?
Scott Dawson?
That's who it was, Scott Dawson.
Yeah. And Charles Jura says, Justin View printed a killer process shirt a few days ago. Props to him. Yes, he's doing great.
Yep.
Dan says, great news. I had a breakthrough with our new press operator this morning based on our discussion last week here. Good job. Awesome. He brought in a pre-production sample that was typical quality. It would pass, but could be better. So I explained the concept of the inks being designed to flow better at faster speeds, printed the base ink faster, flooding more, half printing, tight screens, close off contact produced far better results for our new press operator. He was excited and it felt great too. And then we ran out of characters. So
right.
Good job, Dan. Thanks for that.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
And then Richard says, I was in Milwaukee and went to meet me. I remember that. And Atkinson is a Michigan family name for me. Well, there's actually Fort Atkinson is actually in Wisconsin. So no relation to my family as I know of, but that was great. So
you're from the Florida Atkinsons.
Well, my family actually, the Atkinsons came through Georgia, my lineage, right? Yep. So anyway, Josh Wally says, good morning.
Hey, Josh.
Good morning. Peter says, we already do that where a person is delivering our shirts with a screen printing bag with their logo on it. We also put a little note in the bag on the back of our business card. That's great. So, awesome. Peter, what have you seen with that? Right? Did you get a new order? What's the, maybe not every time, but what is the payoff of doing these little things that people don't expect? When you surprise and delight people, that's where the fun begins to me, you know. Richard says the 80s were famous for cash deals at the show.
A lot, yeah.
Valerie says, whenever someone refers to us on Facebook, I always respond to the client with a personal message. I always end up getting the job. I really believe that going an extra step to personally talk to the customer goes a long way. That's exactly right. And here's why, is because human to human wins.
Always.
If you're not an anonymous robot, you're going to win because nobody does business with their enemies.
Yep.
We all do business with our friends. So the more friends that you can make, the more business you're going to have.
People still buy from who they like and who they trust.
That's right. Ghosta says, I did post a picture of my empty gingerbread jars. The end of that is now a YouTuber marketing products and advertising. Good contract. Who could guess?
Absolutely.
That's right. And then our buddy Peter's here. Good morning.
Dr. Walsh.
In Roselle, Illinois. So good morning. So serendipity, right? And, you know, and like Peter's here. So serendipity, right? I've known that guy since he was managing the Poly One office in California, I think, right? And
Toss.
Well, no, I didn't meet him back when he was doing Toss. He started working for Poly One. I think it was Poly One. And then
Peter, did you work for Poly One? Am I?
NASDAR. Maybe it was NASDAR.
NASDAR, Source One. Yeah.
Source One. And so he invited me out to teach a class on sustainability, and you know, and saw him. I think every year since then at a trade show. It's like one of my must say hello tos when I go anywhere.
Absolutely.
Hey, is Peter here? Just want to say hello, right?
Absolutely.
Check in, right? So
no, I met Peter when he was with Toss.
Yeah, right. Dan says, with every order, my wife puts a box of Dots candy, dot tone designs. Great. So they get a little surprise gift from the open. That's great.
Yep.
Love it. I love that, the surprise and delight, right?
I need to I need to give a little shout out, Marshall. You know, sometimes you and I will get things sent to us from clients and friends, and Dennis Tan out of Manhattan from Ampersand. He's been on the show listening before. I just get a box of like gourmet cookies he had sent to me, just thanking me for the years of help and friendship and stuff. And so
that's
Dennis,
great.
thank you so much. You know, Dennis is such a great guy. Looking forward to hooking up with him and seeing him at Atlantic City.
So Peter says, we got a couple extra clients by word of mouth from this, some return customers. I believe if you go the extra mile, people remember that. Exactly.
Absolutely.
William says, free local delivery is part of my gig. I'm in a remote area on top of a mountain, so no one's going to find me. I talk to the customer at their next job. When I make a delivery, I consider it part of sales. That's great.
Yep.
Dennis is here. Says,
oh, there he was. I didn't even know he was on. So, yeah.
And I met the great Peter Walsh in 1988 when I was working in Australia.
Is the great Peter Walsh the same Peter Walsh from M&R?
Probably.
I think so.
And so, you know, Richard always has a better story, don't you know?
He does. Richard has the life that we all wish we had. So
great. So anyway, so please keep those serendipitous stories coming. We want to hear, but let's shift.
And on serendipitous, I don't know, Dennis, tell me, I don't remember the first time I met Dennis. He was probably, I think, at one of my seminars he came to. I'm not even sure which show it was. So Dennis, if you can remind me, that'd be awesome.
It's hard for me sometimes to remember how I meet people.
It is.
So many people. So,
yep.
All right. New topic. Trade shows. Yes, they're smaller. So what? Okay. I keep seeing comments about Atlantic City, about the Graphics Pro thing next week or whatever. Is anybody going? It's really dinky. It's not going to be worth your time. I've got to tell you, it doesn't matter how big the show is. It matters what you're trying to do if you go to the show, right? And so I just want to throw this out there. Are they going to be smaller? Yes, they're going to be smaller.
Right.
Okay. But you know what? That's okay. Maybe you can spend more time with the booths that are there. Maybe now you have time for a class. Maybe you can watch that presentation, you know, that's over there in the corner where Rick Roth is interviewing somebody or whatever, right? Yep. There's plenty of reasons why to go to these things. You know, it's to take the class, it's to network with people, it's to meet other shops that you have never met before. It's just to be open for stuff, right? And I don't want to sound too like I'm landing on top of people, condescending or whatever. I just think you have to have a more open mind. And this actually plays into the serendipity thing a little bit here, you know, and Charlie's watching. Last year at the Atlantic City show, Charlie Tobley's there. Hey, what are you doing for dinner? Let's go to dinner tonight. We went to a restaurant and I met one of his clients who turns out to be now one of my clients, right? And we're actually going to film Jersey's Adventures in Apparel Decorating episode at that shop later this year, right? That would have never happened if I had not gone to that trade show. Okay. So you just got to there's a reason why you go to these things, folks.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So what do you think about that, Alan?
Well, you know, I agree. Trade shows are going to be smaller. I just came from Kansas City DAC show, and it was smaller. And for us, sometimes it gets a little disappointment. But I think with anything, the problem with trade shows has always been that people go and just wander around, and they don't have a plan. So if you're going, what is your plan? Who are you wanting to meet? What are you looking for? What's the new? And always be on the look for new stuff out there. And, you know, and then networking. And to do that, even if, say, Easy Way doesn't have a booth, you can ask them, who's going to be at this show? Is there anybody going to be there? Well, Alan Howe will be walking around there, or Steve Nelson, or someone there. You can always meet up, whether they're your rep or not, with them and spend time with them.
I'll tell you,
one of my
favorite things to do, and you know this, Alan, I like to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with different people every day that I'm there.
Agreed.
Right? I like to meet for coffee, or let's go have a beer, or let's just go find a corner and sit down. I want to talk to you, right? And I want to meet this. This is how I do my research as to what's going on in the shop.
Absolutely. Talking
with people, you know, and you know, I don't, you know, maybe you can become a client, but I don't care if that doesn't happen. It's like, this is how I stay relevant and understand what's really happening, because I'm hearing from people, right? So I think it's important.
And that's why when people see us, if it's late at night at shows, and why do Marshall and Alan, all these guys look exhausted? Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And no matter how tired I am, I take the time to meet with people. I remember Marshall in Indianapolis, right after I met you, me and you and I think it was Anthony Sharples. We met at, of all places, a Steak and Shake, because it was across the street from, we were close to the hotel, and we just met for coffee. It had to be almost 11:30 at night, 12:30 at night.
I was so exhausted. Remember
that?
I
was too. I was too. But you know what?
The only time we can meet. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah. And it happens, but we do it. And it's always good.
Yeah.
Right. I never regret it. So, yeah.
Right. So got some more comments. Peter corrected me. No Poly 1. And here's his dates. And it's Nazar through 95 through 216. Yep. That's what I was remembering.
Yep. I met him with Toss, probably 85. Well, because I started in the industry at 87. So, yeah.
So Dan says, a couple of days ago, my wife took a food tray package to the FedEx warehouse and office crew, builds great relations, as well as took one to a few good customers. That's great. Dennis says, I don't remember either. Ages and ages ago.
Not you could have been that long ago. You're not that old, Dennis. So.
Dennis sent me to a deli. Dennis called me this morning for an hour. Serendipity. Exactly.
Wait, Dennis, can we take orders for pastrami? Good pastrami from New York and have it sent? I'm there.
What's the name of that deli that's like it's this thick for the sandwich?
Carnegie Deli.
Carnegie Deli?
Yeah. So actually, Richard, I called Dennis to thank him for the package. He called me later. He was on the phone with you. He said,
right.
So
Dan says smaller means an opportunity for more dedicated attention from vendors to those who are attending. Great deals, great networking, more room and time to introduce yourself to people you want to meet. Many positives that are harder to achieve when it's crowded. Dan, you said it way better than I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Hey, Josh is here. Josh says,
Josh
looking forward to ISS Atlantic City and actually spending time with decorators, going deeper and helping them to grow. That's great.
Absolutely.
Great. Richard says Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi, another book gift from Shirt Lab, of course.
Perfect.
Right. Actually, we were doing our Q1. We're putting that package together right now, and we've got our new book coming out, headed towards you. Evan Williams says, will you be at DAX Chicago? I will not.
I will be there, Evan.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm planning on being there right now.
Right. When is that?
April. I think.
Is that on my list here?
No, I don't know. I'd have to look.
It's not on my list. Somebody Google that for us. And Cats.
Cat's Deli is another good one. So Dennis, make that a pastrami on rye, Swiss, and a potato canal.
Oh, Carnegie Deli closed in shame from stealing utilities.
Oh,
oh my God!
Wow, I had no idea.
Dennis sent me Cats. Okay,
Cats is fine. Yeah.
Charlie says, looking forward to seeing and spending time with a lot of the attendees in Atlantic City that I haven't seen in a long time. Conducting 2 day-long workshops there. I was talking with Allie Banholzer yesterday, and she is renting an Airbnb for Atlantic City, and Marge Easterling from Roanoke, Virginia is coming up, and they're both sending printers to your class, Charlie. Intentionally, they can't wait to take your class. So I know you've got shops attending your class, and they're so excited about it, they can hardly stand it.
It's awesome.
Josh says, looking forward to GPX to smaller, introduce my shop to more people, easier to get to seeing vendors. By the way, we'll be there. So
GPX
let's hook up. Evan says, I think it's mid-April.
It is, yeah.
Charlie says April 22 to 23, workshops the day before the show. There you go. DAX Chicago. Thank you, Josh and Charlie.
Good.
Great. So that was really good. We asked something and people commented. So let me try this. What is the winning Powerball numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
Will that work? What do you guys have? Those?
I'm sure they'll have an opinion.
Not that I've bought a ticket, but you know.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we on time? All right. So let's get to our next topic, which is what's going on next week. So Alan, what's going on next week?
We're going to be in Irving, Texas with the Mighty GSG group in their booth broadcasting. which is always fun.
Yeah, yeah. So so that's a different show, right? So we just talked about DAX, we just talked about ISS. So Graphics Pro Expo used to be the NBM show, right? So it's the same thing, right? And we're coming in Thursday. I think I get in a little earlier than you. We'll be around on the show Thursday afternoon. We're doing our rehearsal Thursday afternoon of our show because we had, you know, we had a painful experience the last time. So we're going to try to avoid that. Just look at Alan's face. You can tell.
Not, although I was told, not, now I'm feeling sick again. It's like, okay, I'm feeling faint.
He's already started sweating.
Yeah.
And so we've got better tech and more experience and skill.
In GSG, Daniel they have spent a lot of money on stuff. They've got it all set up.
I can't wait to have a professional do it for me.
It is. So,
but I've got a bag right here. I spent hundreds of dollars on the gizmos. They're right there.
Yep.
Do I know how to use them yet? I don't know, but they're sitting right there. So,
but we're gonna have our stuff as backup. So,
yeah, we're gonna come across, but we've got a new time for next week. So, Alan, what is the new time? It's not 12 noon Eastern. What is it?
It is going to be 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern.
Okay, so a little earlier for you guys. So if you're in California, it's going to be way early. If you know, so make sure we'll have, of course, lots of social media talking about the new time and everything. So please remember we're early. But I think it's going to be really fun. And we've got a giant lineup of guests.
Oh, potential. There's going to be a lot there, man. Of course, M&R is going to be there with the Cobra. I guess there's a new brother machine.
What's the reason why it's so quiet?
Well, it makes no noise. So
that still kills me. It still kills me.
It's classic. And of course, you and I are just like, oh, okay, online. Yeah. You know what? I know Brother has a new machine that's being debuted there, going to be shown.
Yeah, a new Brother DTG printer.
ZSK will have their stuff there. It's going to be great. Stalls will be there.
Right. Hey, Josh, are you bringing anything new to that show? Give us the scoop. So,
and Josh, will you be there?
He was there last time, I think.
I don't think so.
Or am I remembering Atlantic City? I don't remember. After a while, they kind of just meld together, you know. So, but we'll be there, and so we're really looking forward to it. And if you're in the Texas area and you're going to that show, I want to meet up. I want to hang out. I want to, whatever, right? That's what we're there for. We're there to do stuff. Bring it. Okay?
You and I are there for a day, so let's fill it up. You get.
So we're there for coming in Thursday, doing our thing. We need people to hang out with Thursday night, and then meet Friday. We got to do our show, and then we'll be there a couple hours, and then
Marshall, we always do breakfast in the morning too.
It's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or something. We're gonna head to the airport, so would really want to hang out, right? So. And that's the purpose of both Alan and I going, right? I mean, we don't have a booth. Our job is to meet you, right? And give you more value, right? And so bring it.
Cool.
Right. So got some comments here, and Charles is very nice. Last time was fine. Wasn't that bad, guys? See?
Oh, Charles, you are too kind. And Charles, it's New Mexico, Texas, kind of close neighbors.
You should drive over.
You were coming this time, right? Last time you left, we were hurt. We felt all empty inside that you weren't there.
I tell you what, Thursday night, I want to go to a Tex-Mex place or, local barbecue, maybe go to the Pecan Lodge or something. I don't know. I want to do something.
Let's do it.
I know Bobby Harris with K&B is already eating with us, but we can get a bigger table, I bet.
I think so. So, yeah. Charles, so you coming over? Let me see a yes.
Yes. And so Josh says we'll be showing our new DTF transfer.
All right.
Max, and also our new online designer with Transfer Express, launched in Long Beach, now on tour. I personally, Josh, want to come see that. So I know that somebody, you or Jen or somebody, needs to show me that so I can share it on social and blog about it and do whatever, right? So I want the scoop. And Josh also has another comment. Transfer Express booth 508, and we'll also be supporting GSG with the Stalls line of HTV heat presses in their booth.
Cool.
Great. Awesome.
Tell you what, that new IQ is an incredible.
Well, it's not new anymore, but I think it's still probably one of the most revolutionary things that hit this industry in quite a while, right?
Agreed.
I know so many people had made such like duffel bags of cash from that one machine because it really offers a better way of doing patches on hats, which is such a huge profit center. I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? So, and it does more than that, but that's what most people use it for. So if you don't own one of those, you're so missing out on just a cash cow. It's not even funny. So, all right. So what else is going on at these trade shows, Alan? What I think I'm not teaching a class, but I think they have classes there, right? And
they do have classes. I think GSG has a couple people doing classes on embroidery, on HTV, I think. I'm not, is what they said. But check it out. Always, anytime you go to a trade show, that's the other thing about trade shows. There is education, whether it's in the booth or out there. Take advantage of it. Do it.
Right. And it also, you as the owner, you might take that class, but guess what? You're not doing production, or at least you shouldn't be. Bring your people.
Right.
Have them take the class, right? Just as we're talking about with the Atlantic City show. There are shops that are bringing their printers to take Charlie's class. The owners aren't taking Charlie's class because they're not the ones printing. Okay?
I think also, Marshall, and you've done this as a printer, you know, you have a plan as an owner when you're bringing people going, what do you see? Write it down, have a meeting and stuff on there. Because when someone goes, I was in this class and I was at the show and heard this, this, and this, I think this will help our business because of this, this, and this. The owner goes, when you go back, always goes, okay, I'll look into it. And it never happens. When you're there, you're all seeing it, you're talking, you have a plan.
Yeah.
And it makes people, you know, let your employees know that their opinion is valued and they're needed.
Yeah. Also, don't be scared after the class to come up front, shake their hand, give them your business card, talk to them about that one problem or that thing that you didn't quite understand. Okay. Let me tell you, every class that I've taught, it's 30 minutes at least before I can leave.
Yep, absolutely.
There's a dozen people. They all want to whatever. That's what I'm there for. In fact, that's the reason I'm teaching the class.
Yep.
Okay. So I want that interaction. I want to meet you. And the people that are teaching that class, it's not a bother. That's why they're there. That's why they write the email address on the tablet or whatever. They want to meet you. They want to get involved. That's the reason why we teach the class. So don't be shy. Make yourself known. Okay. True fact. That's how I met Tom Rowan.
Absolutely.
I taught a sustainability class. He was there with his brother. He came up after the class. He introduced himself. This was like forever ago. Right. And then that's what happened later. Right. Now we're business partners with ShirtLab. Right. So that's the magic. Right.
Also, too, Marshall, you bring up always have business cards. I am still shocked of how many people I didn't bring cards with me.
Hey, guess what I just ordered?
Come to a show and not do that.
I just ordered the dot thing. Yeah, you're back on my phone. It's supposedly going to be here Monday. So that way, if somebody doesn't have a business card, I can go, bloop, now you got it, right? And so Frank Good with S&S showed me that at the last trade show, and I've been meaning to do it. It's been on my list, and I haven't done it, right? You have your checklist, right? And so I knew I'm going to trade shows. I'm like, damn it, I'm going to have to do it. And so I did it, right?
The other thing that drives me nuts is when people hand me a business card and there's no information on it. There's not an address. There's not a phone number. There's not there. You might have an email address, but I don't know. I don't remember where you're from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I meet a lot of people. Yeah, I do. And it's like, what show is this from? Who is this? And where are they at? Are they in Texas? Are they in New Mexico? Are they in Houston? Are they in Dallas? I don't know. Are they in Lubbock? Are they in Texas?
I like people with business cards where only one side is coated, the other side is plain, so you can actually write on it and it doesn't smear.
Absolutely.
So, all right, got some comments here, and we got a last topic coming up. So Josh Wally, just a skill on rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to go with skill.
Yeah, correct.
He won that hat press.
That IQ hat press. That was incredible.
Right. And this is his comment. 30% of our hat sales, thanks Shirt Lab installs. Right,
yep.
All came from, guess what? Attending an event. Right. Shirt Lab Fort Worth. Right. And by the way, we've got Shirt Lab Chicago. We're going to be announcing a bunch of stuff soon for that. That's going to be July the 22nd in Chicago, which is the day after ASI Chicago. We've got a great lineup of speakers. It's going to be lots of fun. Tom and I were on the phone an hour earlier today, plotting and planning and scheming. So look for more information coming about that. Plus Shirt Lab Summits coming up at the end of the month. More stuff coming up on that. So
Shirt Lab Chicago, that's drivable for me. Could I go to 2 Shirt Labs at one time? Back to back? Go figure.
If we let you in. Right? If
you let me in. I might know.
I think I know somebody that
I know 1 or 2 maybe.
I can swing you a ticket as you guys are sponsoring our event. I bet you I can get you.
Thank you.
Right. All right. So Valerie says off topic. Nothing is ever off topic, Valerie.
That's right.
Don't apologize. Does anyone know where I can get those tiny t-shirts they have at the show? Looking for polyester to buy about 100. Because what, you're doing shirts for mice? I mean, what's up with that? I don't know, but you should ask your vendor, whatever you're doing about finding those. I personally don't know, right? So Simon says, in my laundry.
If you're at a trade show and Simon Clifford's there in Techmar, that's worth the price of going. Just
Simon, are you going to be at shows?
Are you going to be in Atlantic City, Simon?
Let us know. And Valerie says, we love expos just for meeting everyone, right? Josh says, just cotton right now from us, mini t-shirts.
Okay.
There you go. It pays to show up to stuff like Q&A because here's the answer. Was I watching them? Right. Yeah, that's great. So here's the link again. So stalls.com/mini t-shirts. There you go.
They're not polyester, they're cotton, but there's your start.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just need them, right? So, and Valerie says, thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it. All right. We got 12 minutes left or so. I'm losing my voice as usual.
Next.
You get a drink so I don't sound like I'm going through puberty again.
Yeah.
My pot of coffee is almost finished for today. Business fundamentals. Okay. I'm a coach. You talk to people all the time, right? Mm-hmm. We see shops that are just killing it. And then we also see shops that are so struggling, it's painful to watch, right? What separates the wheat from the chaff is just basic running your business stuff. I mean, it's so boring, right? But it's so necessary, right? So what's your take on this, Alan? I mean, I know you see a lot of stuff, and I know everybody here is going to start commenting, right? But
let's
talk about just the basics, blocking and tackling and catching the ball stuff of running a business. What should we be thinking about?
Over the years, there are people, and I put them in a category of they're in business in spite of themselves. I don't know how. I don't know how they stay afloat. I don't know because they don't know. One, if you don't have a business plan, you have no idea where you're going. I learned that from someone. If you don't have, and business plans are fluid. they move as you grow and stuff, and every year. So yeah,
and you can have a business plan for each different type of sales channel.
absolutely.
Because you know, a Harley Davidson riders probably buy differently than a hospital.
Absolutely.
And you could serve both of those markets. So your business plan is really about focusing on your bullseye with laser-like focus about what you're trying to do, right? And so we can spend a whole show on business plans, but
yep.
you know, you got to have it. You got to know how you're getting paid, when you're getting paid.
Are you making money? Are you making money? Do you know your profit and loss? And it is amazing of how many people have been in the industry many, many years and just don't have basic business skills and put them in place. Either they don't have the skills or they'll put them in place and they don't ask.
I was talking with a shop owner this morning. Okay. Their sales are up 22%. January and February, 22%. They've got less orders. What happened? Can you tell me?
They're working smarter, not harder. They're getting more
profit. They raised their prices.
Yep.
They raised their minimums. So not only is their top line sales up, but their profit is up. And here's the kicker, is they actually know their profit. It's not, I got to wait until the end of the year for my accountant to tell me if we made money. These people actually know the number, and they know the number every week because they're looking at it, right? Yep. And here's the other thing is they charge what? When do they get asked for the money?
Up front.
Up front. Why do they do that, Alan?
Because cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king.
You can be busy, and the busier you have, you're going to need more garments, more ink, more supplies, everything like that, and cash flow is king.
So there's shops, and some really, really big shops in this industry that have closed down over the years. Why? Is because they ran out of money. They had hundreds of employees, millions of dollars of equipment, and guess what? They had to close shop because they ran out of money. Why?
We can't be out of business. We can't be out of business. We're too busy.
That's right. But they are.
We're locked. Yep.
They are. And people that have been in this industry a long time know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, so, there's a few of them. Yeah, we can mention name after name.
But it's like one of these things. They ran out of money, because it ran out of cash because when? Because they were invoicing their clients.
Yep.
For hundreds of thousands of dollars, and these people never paid them or whatever it was. I don't know what the deal was, you know, the exact details, but they ran out of money.
Yep.
And they couldn't afford to stay in business. It's just crazy, right? So
sales don't grow businesses. Profits do.
Yeah. Well, cash is the lifeblood of your business. It's not about what equipment you have or your skill, your people or whatever. It's about your sales. It's about your margin. It's about you doing things properly, that type of stuff. So business fundamentals, you know, and we also see in this industry, right, is a roller coaster. Oh, yeah. We're busy. We're not busy. We're busy. We're not busy. Right. It's peaks and valleys, feast and famine, whatever you want to say. And why is that? It's because we only sell when we're slow.
Yep.
When we're busy, we're too busy to sell. We're too busy to do marketing. And then once we realize, hey, we're out of work next week, there's a flurry of activity trying to bring in stuff.
And, you know, we just came out of a pandemic. You know, you think back of 2020 where everything shut down. And this is where you find out where the strong survive, the weak get killed and eaten. And that's exactly what happens. And there's not always a pandemic, but there are recessions. There are things that happen. And when we run into that trough, the people that plan ahead, that run business fundamentals, and know cash is king, at the bottom of that trough, before things start coming up, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
For people, for supplies.
Yeah.
For sales, for customers.
And are you paying attention? I mean, so right now, and I don't want to make this big political thing, right? But are you paying attention to what's going on? I mean, there's this giant war in Ukraine. I was reading a McKinsey report the other day that was talking about how a shipping container, if it's not already, will soon be $30,000 to make its way to America.
They used to be 2 years ago, 6,000.
Yeah. So why don't we get our stuff? Was because it's too expensive. Why is our supply chain charging more? Because $30,000 a container, right?
Yep.
So what's going to happen is you're going to see more stuff be near shore, right? South America, Mexico, Canada, right? You're going to probably see a lot of businesses start there, right? But they still need the raw components. They still need to do stuff. They still haven't built that plant yet or whatever, right?
Right.
Probably that's coming because nobody can afford that $30,000 bill, but they can probably ship it from Mexico for a lot cheaper. So when is that going to start? We don't know, right? I don't know. But this is another reason why to go to a trade show to find out what their plans are for this,
right.
if they have any, and I think it's really going to be interesting to see what's going on with these manufacturing companies, these apparel companies, these ink companies, the people that we rely on, how they're going to be changing and doing stuff, right?
Right.
And we still have to be able to sell, right? So if you can't get ink, can you get heat transfers? Can you do embroidery instead? Like, how are you adjusting your business to actually decorate a shirt based on what you can do, not what you can't do, but what you can do, right? Did you put that up? Because I didn't touch it. Man, it's great. You've got control, Alan. I forget.
But I'm just co-piloting. You're right now. You're the captain. So, but this is a great point on what we're talking about.
Yeah. So once you read it,
no one is arguing about pricing right now. Set margins and hold firm equal no profit equals no business. So you do that. We aren't driving inflation, meaning we're not the ones doing it. We're not driving the inflation. We're responding and staying in business.
Right.
So that is perfect on there.
Yeah. And I just think it's so important that we do what we need to do and don't look back. Don't be scared. Don't be timid, right? You got to make a price increase, do it. If you got to raise your minimums, do it. If you got to say no to a client because they're off their rocker with their expectations, do it. Right? You got to do what you got to do and to do things correctly, right? So business fundamentals is really about understanding that.
Absolutely.
Josh has a really great comment.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Clear target customer, actual unique value for your target customer, clear measure of success, profit, leading indicators that result in success, incremental improvements, team alignment around meaningful goals, culture, individual and team compensation and career paths around goals, transparency of progress and results.
Yep.
Awesome. Love it.
I want to respond. Valerie said something up there, Marshall.
Okay.
And so maybe Valerie, go ahead.
Maybe it'd be cheaper to buy here than instead of overseas.
And you know what? And we all want to buy America and support that. But I think in the global economy, there are some items that just are not available here. As great as our country is, when we're talking about mining stuff, like for pigments and stuff, most people don't realize most pigments are mined. TiO2, which is the component in white ink and white everything, including toothpaste and stuff like that. That is a mined product, and one of the largest mines, I hate to say, I've heard, is in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why Putin wants Ukraine is because of the resources that are under the ground. There's no secret to that.
So some things just aren't available here. One of the components in almost all stencil removers is an iodine derivative. That is mostly manufactured overseas. We have one small manufacturer here in the States, and that's it. So while we want to support our local and country business, sometimes it's not an option. We do have to have those. Because with all the resources we have, we don't have them all.
Right.
So, yeah.
So William says, I was an art major in college. Hey, me too. Minored in business. Those businesses class were huge for me. I was an art education double major. My career dream was to teach art and coach football in high school. Didn't quite make that.
Not quite.
But I'm doing the teaching part now.
Absolutely.
You know? So anyway, that's great. Great, William. Love the fact that you your business class has really helped, right? And guess what? If you never took a business class and you're 53, you can still take one.
Absolutely.
You could read a book, right? You know, I read practically an hour a day every single day.
I think I know somebody that might have a free ebook too on some business stuff, on some basic business stuff.
Well, my ebooks, there's only one is some of them are you pay for, but there's a free book. It's a workflow tips is free.
Workflow tips, but then okay, you have an ebook, business one on.
No, it gives you business plan templates.
Yep,
it's called
absolutely.
Basic Info Pack, right?
And some people need to start there.
And my best-selling book, by the way, is called Price for Profit, which is how to actually price screen printing so you make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And I sell one of those books practically every day, right?
Good.
So it's a good thing, right? And anyway, where are we in time? Well, it's exactly top of the hour. So want to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for watching this week. Really appreciate you. If you are in the Texas area next week, reach out to me or Alan.
Yep.
Let's show our email addresses real quick. So here's yours.
Yep.
Ahal with an E at easyway.com. And mine is just my name, Marshall at marshallatkinson.com. Would love to hear from you, either one of us or both of us or whatever. Yep. And let's meet up next week in Texas or Atlantic City. Atlantic City is coming up at the end of the month. Those are two events where we'll both be at, and we're both doing our show from the event, and can't wait to do it. And who would have thunk it that we're still be kicking this around
2 years later?
It's crazy to me.
Stupid. It's stupid.
It's not like, and thank you so much for GSG for sponsoring us and helping us out. We really appreciate that. But who would have thought we'd be doing this, right? So,
and you know what? It shows, talk about serendipitous, because when you brought Q&A to me and said, hey, I have an idea, all I remember is
such a goofy idea too. Well, how did I describe it? Do you remember? You
said, hey, I have an idea. I want to partner with you on a topic for impressions. And he said, and we got talking about trade shows and seminars that you said, how do we know the best part? It's always meeting people afterwards in there. He goes, why don't we just go right to that? And I go, what? And you said,
I said,
a no seminar.
A no
it's
seminar.
Just Q&A with Alan and Marshall, a question and answer, just you and I stand there. People come and bring questions. And I'm like, okay, stroked my ego a little bit. I'm listening.
No slides, nothing prepared. We don't do anything but stand there.
But
how's it going to work?
This is why you're the visionary. And I remember going, okay. And you go, all right, what am I missing, Alan? I said, well, one, I don't know if impressions will buy it. And if they do, I don't think they'll pay us for it.
And they did both.
And three, who's going to come? And what do I know?
Yeah, we had Allie Danholzer sitting in the front row as usual.
Marge Esterling was there. That's where I met her.
Mike Woolbright was there, I think. And we had the whole Shirt Lab tribe crowd was there.
Yeah,
but we had other people. It was a pretty good, decently attended class. It was
great. And then, when COVID hit, you said, let's just do it live at Facebook Live, which I thought was a great idea. No, that first episode was awful.
It didn't work.
It didn't
work. Couldn't get in. It was just me talking, and I'm not good just me talking.
And there were technical screen print questions. I was throwing the computer across the room. I was having a fit.
Right.
But it was a great time. And who knew? Serendipitous. Who knew?
Right. Yeah. So you got to, and here's the other lesson, right? You have to be willing to fail.
Yep.
You have to put your neck out on a chopping block and just say, hey, we're going to do it. If it doesn't work, who cares?
Yep.
Right. And I'm about that with a lot of things, right? Let's just do it. Right. So, all right. Last minute comments and then we're out of here. So Tyler says, have a great week. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you, pal. Valor says, thanks, guys. We will contact you, Marshall. We head that way. Great. Mike's here, says, the more you listen, the better you are.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
Michael.
So anyway, thanks everyone for showing up. We'll see you next week live from the GSG booth in Irving, Texas. Until then, have a great weekend.
9 a.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Take care.
Bye-bye.